She does it all. She was born in Mexico. She's a naturalized U.S. citizen, and she is a resident of Texas, married to Dr. Adryana Boyne. And they have 2 children. I want you to please give a warm welcome for Adryana Boyne.
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I want to say that it was very special to me to hear another naturalized American citizen singing the national anthem this afternoon. I know the emotion which is to be able to say, I choose this country and I love this country and this is my country, this is my flag. So thank you, Debbie, for doing that. But I want to tell you, I came to the United States in the 80s, and as you heard, yes, I went to Criswell College. Before that, just a few years before, as a teenager, I was involved in worldly youthful pursuits, although my parents had values. But it was when I was 17 years old that I understood that Jesus Christ died for me on the cross, and I recognized and I accept Him as my Savior. Came to the States, married my wonderful husband, Dr. Adryana Boyne, almost 25 years ago. And we decided to serve the country where I was born, Mexico, for 9 years as missionaries. We were there in church planting and educating the community. But every time that we were coming back, I talked with Latinos. And every time that I talked with the Latinos, I realized that they did not understood pretty well what politics was all about, and the reason that you need, if you are an American, to go and exercise your right to vote, so you can vote your values. It's very interesting because as I talk with some people and some Latinos, I remember I was in a pro-life event one time, and the lady in the hotel who was taking care of us, she was a Latina, and I spoke with her, and she told me she was an American, and I said, have you decided who you are going to vote for president? And I remember she smiled and she said, Hillary Clinton. And I say, oh, Hillary Clinton, are you pro-life? And she said, of course I'm pro-life. Would you vote for somebody who is not pro-life? Of course I will not. Well, are you aware that Mrs. Clinton is not pro-life, that she is pro-abortion? Of course she's not, she said to me. Of course she's, but her husband wasn't. And I said, well, I think that you need to read a little bit more and learn more about the issues. So then she realized that, yeah, that I was right. She called me later, and I find out that she said, yeah, she was changing her mind. She will not vote for somebody who is for abortion. But for the last 5 years, more or less, I have been speaking to the Latino community in the English and Spanish-speaking media. I realize that the media is very biased because they always get the left side. Not only that, but they make themselves sure that if you're going to go into a debate or in a forum or in a panel, the guests are 2 people on the left, I will be your guest on the right and the conservative values, and the moderator is also on the left. That's very typical. Univision, Telemundo, CNN Español, they always have that. But I realized that there is an opportunity and a need for conservative voices in the Spanish media. So we have been cooperating with another organizations. I want to say I'm very grateful for Faith and Freedom Coalition because they are very open to know that there is a great need for the Latino vote, not only in Texas but also in the United States. There is also the TexasGOPVote.com, which is a blog, it's a website here in Texas. I always say the #1, and they have wonderful bloggers who are always writing great articles have to do with Latinos. We have one of them here, Linda Vega. Thank you for being here. She's an attorney here in the Houston area. But many times the people ask what the Latino believes. Well, the Latino community has many conservative values. Most of the Latinos are pro-life. Most of them are pro-family, a traditional family. They value the role of church and faith in their lives, and they value the free market capitalism. They like entrepreneurship. But one of the issues that all the time come up when we're talking with Latinos, we're going to have to face it this afternoon, regardless that you like to talk about it or not, but is regardless of your opinion on the immigration situation and even politics, it must be recognized that the Latino population is growing and is an unstoppable voice in America. And it's very important for you to note So please remember these words. Without the Latino vote, no one can win any election. Not for president, not for Senate, not for Congress. And in Texas, you cannot win. So it's very important that when we are talking about Latinos, we are very careful which language we use. We have to watch our rhetoric. We have to watch which words we are picking to talk about the Latinos. Not all the Latinos are illegal. And not all the undocumented people in the United States are necessarily illegal. It's like saying that if you have a mother in jail and she has her child with her, to say that that child is also a jail person who has been incarcerated. Because so many people have come to the United States because their parents brought them here or any other way. But it was not their choice to be here in the United States. They don't have documents, but they didn't make that choice. So we need to be very careful how we talk about this issue. And certainly most of the people who have come here to the United States for other countries, they come in different circumstances. Some of them come to participate in the economic opportunities provided by the free market that we have in the United States, the education, and also for the situation that they have, the American dream. But some of them come because they came to escape oppressional, tyrannical governments. For example, Venezuela or Cuba. And I will tell you, I don't know any Cubano or any Venezolano that when you talk to them and you say, the way that this country is going right now with the actual government, that they don't see the signs. They see the signs because they've been there. They know what it is to be under Chavez. They know what it is to be under Castro. So they know exactly. But many times what we need to do is we need to educate and empower the Latino community with conservative values. That is the reason that I started alongside with my husband and others, our organization Voices Action. Voices is the word voices in Spanish, as we know, but it's a 501c3 or C4 organization, and what we do is we are political advocate for conservative values, a voice for conservative values. Now, as a voice for conservative Hispanics, we inform and empower those Hispanics to express their conservative social, fiscal, and moral values in order to help the nation to regain and preserve its moral heritage. Now, what we do is we educate and inform the Latino population on conservative values, and we empower Latinos in protecting and promoting their conservative values in their homes, communities. But we also serve as a bridge because we also interact with those of you who are non-Latinos, and we teach you and help you in how to interact with Latinos. Just some of the statistics, because we don't have a lot of time today, but we will need over 33% of the Latino vote in order to win the next presidential election. But just let me tell you, the Latino community is losing the conservative values. Just to give you an example, the second generation is less conservative than the first. On average, English-speaking Latinos are less conservative than Spanish-speaking Latinos. A poll of Latinos was made. Over 80% of the Spanish-speaking Latinos were pro-life. However, only 50% of the English-speaking Latinos were pro-life. In other words, the influences on Latino youth are causing them to lose their parents' conservative values. Now, you can hear that I have a heavy accent. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one here who probably has an accent. But I learned English. And I know that English is the language of this country. But please, let's choose our battles and let's do not speak with a harsh rhetorics for those of us who like to speak Espanol todos los días, every day. Why? Because you know what? We need to do it. We need to speak in Spanish because there is that group of people who still feel comfortable and they are conservative. And I all the time remind the people, for the sake of the unborn, we need to find reasonable, compassionate, realistic solutions to the problem that we're having with the illegal immigration. And I do know that we believe, as Christian people, as people of faith, Judeo-Christian values, that we need to respect the rule of law. That is very important, and we have to promote that. But we also have to understand that we are in this mess not only for those people who are coming here illegally, because the United States, large, big government has allowed that to happen by giving entitlements, by expanding the government. And that is like a magnet for other people to come. So therefore, we need to take personal responsibility and fix this mess. And you know what the solution? It's not going to make 100% happy all of us. But for the sake of the unborn, let's find a realistic solution. Senator Marco Rubio recently said that the immigration system in this country is broken. And that is right. It needs to be fixed. When we're talking about, let's everybody get to the end of the line, my answer is, there is no line to go. Those people don't have a line to go. What we need to expedite the immigration system, we need to fix it up, and we need to have a guest worker program for those people who are good for our country. I know that all of you maybe will agree with this, but I can tell you one thing. For the sake of the values, we need the conservative voters. And those conservative voters are staying here in America. Now, we know that the youth are influenced by many of the same influence that all of the children, because the public education is biased, and we know that. The influence of their peers and those around them. Now, many Latino families have two working parents, and that also is less of an influence in children. Let me tell you what happens sometimes in the media. We do some networking, conservative Hispanics and those interested in conservative values, and we have to go to the community. When I hear the people like, what can we do to outreach to Latinos? Because many of us who are Latinos get that question all the time. What can we do so we can get the Latino vote? What I can tell you is this. You need not only to stay resting in your laurels and opening your doors of your homes and your clubs, your political party clubs or different groups, but what we need to do besides that is we need to engage with the community. And engaging means more than opening your door to let them into your club or association or organization. Engaging is you get out of your comfort zone. Let me just show you a little bit about this picture. In this picture, we have in the middle Ramona Treviño. Ramona Treviño got pregnant when she was 16 years old, and she had her daughter right there in the right. But guess what? She needed a job. Her job was, she was a manager at the Planned Parenthood. And Ramona Treviño recently went back in her relationship with God, and she decided to resign from her job in Planned Parenthood. She's expecting another baby you cannot see there. And down here, some of you recognize who she is, but maybe some of you don't know. Next to me is Norma McCarvey. Norma McCarvey is the real Jane Roe. Okay, when we have Roe v. Wade. And Norma, after she was the cause that we have abortion legalized in this country, now she is a believer and she is fighting against abortion. So anyway, I just want to tell you a little bit more about my organization. We are Anachronic Voices, offering conservative empowering solutions. And if you want to know more about how can you help, we have a website, www.vocesaction.org. There is many ways that you can help. You can be friends to Latinos, share conservative values, help others to register to vote. Your financial donations are always appreciated. And certainly, it's very important that you all remember, be friend with a Latino. Don't be afraid to get to know them. You don't need to speak Spanish, but if you do speak Spanish, use your Spanish, please. Por favor. I have more information, and I will have some brochures with me. I am aware of the time, and all I want to say, muchas gracias.